Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage and the underneath of the C25 4x4. I'm losing my mind because of this. The drive shaft coming from the front of the gearbox to the vicious clutch down here. Is it extremely noisy, and I'm pretty sure that the joints are completely worn out. I have had no luck to find the joints, so now I'm gonna take it off and hopefully be able to measure the splines and all that and find out, because it's most likely a Volkswagen or Porsche part. It's Puch Styer 4x4, and they very often use the German stuff, especially up here. It can't be right that it's that loose. So at least to get rid of the noise, I think I will just take it off. It will be a front driven van then, but it'd be nice to put the axle back the same way as I took it off for balancing purposes. So I'm just gonna mark it. This reminds me a lot of owning Volkswagen Synchros, because pretty much used all your time undoing broken drive shafts and being worried that the vicious clutch was not working. So I'm gonna take you back when I've removed this drive shaft and put it onto the bench. So it is a bit later. Had to do some stuff, so it's dark outside now, but what I have done now is I've inspected the universal joints or constant velocity joints. This is the one going to the vicious clutch. It got quite a lot of movement. Unfortunately, a bit of it is in the splines, but I hope a new joint will take most of it away. I don't think it will be perfect. Hopefully most of the wear is in the joint part of the spline, but there is some. But that's a lot. On the other one, it's completely dry in there. It's almost no grease, and what's left is completely dried out. This is the noisy one. This is the reason why I took it off, because as you can hear, this is making a lot of sound. Pretty much no play in the splines on this one though, but it's completely dry. I had hoped to just be able to lubricate it up, but this is way too much to do that. I need 2 joints for this. The problem is that I cannot find them anywhere. This one up here is a GNK one, but I have googled it and I cannot find the correct one. The other one is actually a Fiat one. What I have done right now is I have written down the most important things about the joint, the splines and all that, and then I'm just gonna go hunting for it on the internet, because the 4x4 system is made by Puch Styer. It seems as though they like to use German parts, so I'm pretty sure it's a generic one. I just have to find out which, so I'm just gonna go ahead and hunt them down and hopefully find them. And then the next part of this video will be whenever I find these and get them, or whenever I give up. So it was impossible to find the correct joints when using the numbers written on them. So what I did was to measure all the diameters, and then I just started searching for other cars, primarily German cars, using this kinds of joint, and I found some that I think will fit. But it is slightly different though. I don't think it will matter that much, but the gator is a lot longer than the old one. I might have to cut it down a bit. I will just have to see. But I think that's the only difference. So it doesn't really matter that much. So let's go ahead and change one of the joints. And that is this one. As you can see, it's the one that is loose in the joint itself because of wear on the splines. So this might not be perfect, changing just this. It might need a complete rebuild, actually, the axle. But I'm pretty sure it will be better than this, and it's gonna have to do. Like that. And let's just test fit the new one. There we go. As you can see, there is still some play in it. So it's not perfect, but it's not loose up in the balls at least, so it won't be noisy the same way. So this is just gonna have to do. Remember, this is not the correct one, so maybe I will have to cut it down to size. But I actually think this will be all right. Might be a little bit compressed. We're just gonna have to see if that will work. Then I'm gonna force the grease into the joint with my palm until it's all the way in there. Like that. There we go. I think that fits all right. Of course, it's not solving all the problems because of that slop or excessive clearance in the splines, but it will have to do, and it will be a lot better. But now comes the other side, which I actually think is the main problem I'm having, at least, because I'm having a lot of noise from the drive shaft, especially when idling and when pulling hard. And I think it's from this one. As you can see, it's very loose. It is also completely dry inside, and it's really worn in the balls or where the balls resides. It's not supposed to have this much free play. The other side also have free play, but that is in the splines. And this one, if you look closely, that part doesn't move at all. It's only out here. So this joint is worn out completely because it's lacking lubrication. There we go. It's off. Like that. So that's it for the drive shaft, or the prop shaft. Now that's ready to go back on the truck. There's absolutely no movement in this now, and no noise. There's a bit of movement in the other side because of the splines, but it's really not a lot. This will be loads better than before. I'm a little bit worried about the rubber gaiter being too big, so maybe it will tear or give a little bit of resistance, but no, I don't really think so, actually. I think it will be fine. Whoops, I actually forgot to fit a spring washer behind the locking ring, because behind this is supposed to be one of these. So the 4x4 system is now working correctly once again. And to be honest, I am slightly conflicted about what to feel about that, because this is a 4x4 camper van. That's awesome. And also winter is arriving in Denmark, and the area where I drive is pretty muddy, and my driveway, for instance, is difficult to get up using only two-wheel drive. So it's really nice to have the 4x4 system back on and working. And the really nice thing is that it's no longer noisy at all. So the fix was really efficient. So the reason why I'm a little bit conflicted about what to feel is that I have been driving this van for a couple of months without the 4x4 system, only front-wheel drive. And I gotta say, it made the van like a rocket ship comparing it to now. I don't actually think it's that much slower with the 4x4 system, but everything is more stiff because the differential is working and the axles are working and all that. So when you turn in a circle, for instance, the drivetrain is binding up a little bit. It's not that much, and it's perfectly normal, but it's It's really feelable when you have been driving it without that system for a long time and then put it back on. It feels like the car just got maybe 75% more heavy. But the great thing is that the confidence in the car is back. When in the rough, I mean. So it's nice to have the 4x4 system back on. Part of me is tempted to try to figure out a way to actually disengage it, make some kind of decoupling mechanism, or just to simply remove the drive shaft and put it in somewhere in the van and then put it on if needed, because on normal driving condition it's not really needed. But the cool thing about this 4x4 system is that it's fully automatic. It's delivering around, I think it's 10% to the rear right now and around 90% to the front. If the front starts slipping, it will send more power, and I think it can send actually 90% power to the rear wheels. That is really clever, this system, really simple also, but that's a really nice thing that if you suddenly hit a rough path with slippery condition, the system just adapts to it completely automatic. And that's nice, because one way to get stuck in a camper van is just to drive around on the beach like I am right now, then hitting a spot of soft sand, and then will just instantly dig down into that hole if it's only front wheel driven, for instance, because the reality is without differential lock, a car is only driven by one wheel, so one wheel can get you stuck. So having the automatic 4x4 system is pretty nice. Anyway, thank you for watching. The 4x4 van is once again a 4x4 van. See you in the next one.